The Rangers take on the hottest team in the NHL, the Ottawa Senators. New York Rangers hockey on MSG Plus is presented by Chase. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New York Rangers hockey. Sam Rose along with Joe Micheletti and John Giannone. And there's a scenario, Joe, tonight where the Rangers can officially clinch a playoff spot.
Now, Sam, the Rangers are not happy with the way they played against Los Angeles. And so they come in here, I think, with a little bit of edge to their game. I just think this is going to be a fantastic game. You've got the hottest team in the league in Ottawa. Rangers want to beat them. Ottawa needs to solidify their playoff spot. It's going to be good.
Let's take a look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, brought to you by Kia. There are the Rangers leading the division by 6 points, 99 points, 1 point behind Montreal for the conference lead and the NHL lead with a couple of games in hand. And look at Ottawa. They have moved into playoff position with a 7-game winning streak.
Sam, they were 14 points out of the playoffs not all that long ago, and now they've 17-2-2 in their last 21. They've been fantastic.
Normally, when we come here, the goaltending matchup would be Henrik Lundqvist and Craig Anderson. Forget them. Let's check out our Audi goaltending matchup. Cam Talbot and Andrew Hammond have really led their teams the last 6 weeks.
It's been unbelievable. These two backup goaltenders. Talbot was a backup. Hammond was in the minors. And yet they've come up and they've been one of the real big stories in the league the last number of months. Talbot, of course, since Lundqvist went out, has just been fantastic the way he's played. He's felt comfortable. He's gotten better as time has gone on. He's won games individually for the New York Rangers. As far as Hammond is concerned, his play in the minor leagues wasn't even good. He had a goals against well over 3, save percentage under 90%. None of those numbers match up here, and he hasn't lost a game in regulation yet.
We've talked about the great season Rick Nash has had, and it's one of his best, but lately he's been slumping. But the Rangers aren't too worried about it because they keep on winning. But he is our GMC key player for tonight. He's gone 7 games without a goal.
You know, but when you watch him play, Sam, he's still doing the same things that we've seen all season long. Penalty killing, excellent. Playing against top lines, getting scoring chances. He's still getting quality scoring chances. He's averaging 4 shots a game in the last 7, even though he's not getting many points. So he's still a factor with the way the Rangers are playing. He's a threat every game, and you know, one of these games, he's just going to break out like Stepan did a couple of games ago.
The Ottawa Senators have gotten a real boost from a lot of young players in the lineup, but one of the big reasons that they've made this run toward the playoffs is one of their stars. Our Land Rover scouting report features Erik Karlsson, whose numbers have just been outstanding lately, and right now he may be the front runner for the Norris Trophy.
Sam, this is a player that was -10 at Christmas. Okay, he's now, or -14. He's now +24 since then. That's the best in the National Hockey League. In this 21-game run that we talked about, he leads all NHL players with 24 points, doing everything for this team. So dangerous every time he's on the ice. You've got to make sure you keep an eye on him. And right now, people are starting to think, you know what, maybe he deserves the Norris Trophy again.
Want to see some young players, some fine rookies? How about Mike Hoffman? He leads all rookies in goals scored. And for the Rangers, Kevin Hayes is 7th in the NHL in rookie scoring. We'll be set to go in just a moment. We are back in Ottawa getting set for the Rangers and Ottawa Senators. This is Thursday Night Hockey. And Thursday Night Hockey is presented by Ram Trucks. As always, closed captioning is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. There is Andrew Hammond, the man they call the Hamburglar. They have embraced him, and he is on the verge of tying Patrick Lallime's record for most games without a regulation loss at the start of a career.
Yeah,
most starts.
Yeah, the difference is that Patrick Lalime relieved twice during that stretch. He has started all of these. He has been quite the story. It's really been fun, though, hasn't it, Sam? I mean, this city is ignited with the way this team is playing and getting a chance to make the playoffs.
Cam Talbot, Henrik Lundqvist is his backup tonight. But look at the numbers he's put up. He has been exceptional, and one of the reasons the Rangers are at 99 points starting play tonight. And right there, battling for the President's Trophy. Chris Kreider in after the puck. played away by Mark Stone. Rangers starting off with Nash, Kreider, and Stepan. Play whistle down, touch with a high stick. And Girardi and McDonough on defense. And there he is, back in uniform for the first time since February 2nd. Henrik Lundqvist on the bench as the backup.
Yeah, Sam, I was sitting there just watching the two of you do that interview for the pregame show, and you just see the excitement in him, don't you? In his eyes and his mannerisms. And is he ever excited to be back? He said, I didn't know what to do with myself. You know, spent a lot of time with his daughter and had another one while he was sitting out, but he is fired up to start playing.
He's ready to go. He is ready to go. The starting lineup's coming in at the top of your screen. Brought to you by Infinity. Mark Hoffman with a shot and a good save by Talbot. Hard shot by Hoffman, who leads all NHL rookies with 26 goals. Infinity bringing you the lineups, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Ottawa Senators with 7 wins in a row, 10 of their last 11. There's Dan Boyle. Mark Stahl has gone off. Boyle carrying. Boyle is an Ottawa native and played junior hockey in this area in Gloucester for a couple of seasons before going to the University of Miami of Ohio.
And the rest is history, as they say.
And
what a career.
He really grew into an outstanding player. Mark Method. Go Sens, go chant up from the crowd. Method and Carlson have made a good defensive pair for Ottawa. Rangers have Hunwick and Yandel on the ice.
Yeah, Sam, Method was hurt for quite a while as well, and when he came back, they were able to move some of the young players that you talk about into, you know, some lesser roles. They didn't have to play quite as much, and that settled everything down on defense for them.
Tanner Glass. There's a long shot that's gloved by Hammond. Rangers' fourth line on the ice. We talked about the numbers of the Ottawa Senators that have moved them up past Florida, past Boston. First 55 games, 1 game under 500 at 22, 23, and 10. Last 17 games, as you mentioned, Joe, 15, 1, and 1. And the goals against average of 1.82.
Yeah, it's been great. And there's Dave Cameron, who took over this team as the head coach when they were 500. And he talks about a 5-5-5 system. And they go over video. He wants 5 players in the neutral zone, 5 in the offensive zone, 5 in the defensive zone. They bought in, and it's working.
Along the boards, Mark Stone, who has been outstanding, another good rookie. Stone moves in, and a good feed, and Talbot kicks the puck out with a glove. Oh, some good passing between Mark Stone and Alex Chiasson, and they almost scored.
Yeah, and then it would have been reviewed because I don't think this touched a stick. I believe it hit the skate of Stone as his stick was tied up. But real good passing. Stone's got wonderful hands. He gets it back here, and I don't think it ever touched his stick. He tried to kick it up to his stick, but Talbot was there again. Here it is. He kicks it, he misses it with his stick. And give Talbot plenty of credit. Another excellent save. You don't want to have to go to a review and rely on someone else. Talbot made sure that he kept it out of the net.
And the fans cheer because the announcement over the PA that the play is under review, and Cam Talbot saying, no, never went in.
Here it is again. Watch him. Stone kicks it, but misses it. And then it hits the pad. And see, you know where it is? It's underneath the pad. It wasn't even under his glove. So the pad never went in. The left pad, you'll see it right there, and it's you can't see the puck, but it's right in there.
Let's check out the man who knows is right between the benches. That's John Giannone.
And actually, Dan O'Rourke, the referee, is standing right here. He just explained to both benches the call on the ice is no goal because the puck was kicked with a distinct kicking motion. So that also, obviously, the puck didn't go over the line, but had it, that was the call on the ice that the puck was actually kicked.
Good stuff. So forget the review. They're going to make the announcement anyway.
Thank you very much. The referees tonight are Dan O'Rourke and Greg Kimmerly. And we're set for the face-off. David Legwand and Dominic Moore. Rangers come away with a puck. Mark Stahl carrying. Rangers have Moore. with Shepard. James Shepard playing the right side. Tanner Glass on the left.
Hammond wanted a penalty because Tanner Glass got in and slashed the stick out of his hands, and he threw his arms up in the air, his hands up as to where's the call.
Some tough games on the schedule for the Rangers. This game here in Ottawa, Saturday afternoon in Boston, Sunday afternoon at home against Washington, before heading out on the road to Winnipeg and Minnesota.
No, yeah, nothing's easy, that's for sure.
There's the scenario: a Rangers win and a Bruins loss, or 1 point by the Rangers and a Bruins loss in regulation, and the Rangers would officially clinch a playoff spot.
Boy, to get to that 100-point mark, that is one heck of a season.
In their history, the Rangers have done it only 7 times. And the head coach, who is from this area, went to visit his folks yesterday when the team arrived.
And, and he mentioned before the game, he said we were a little slow in our execution with the puck against Los Angeles. So that was one thing that, he went over with his team. Let's get back to, moving the puck a little quicker and get the legs going a little faster. And they started off that way in this game.
Yandel carrying in and takes the long shot. The save made with no rebound by Hammond. We were talking with some of the players of the Ottawa Senators about Alex Hammond this morning, and they said he actually played well in the minor leagues last year. This year, the team was struggling in Binghamton, but he got called up, and because of the injuries to Craig Anderson and Robin Lehner, he got a chance to play and has made the most of it.
Yeah, his numbers were not good in the minor leagues. He's really a great story. He was almost out of hockey when he was 17, 18 years of age. He was about ready to quit when he got a call from an old coach of his from years before who got a job coaching Tier 2, and he needed a goaltender. He called him up. He kept him in the game of hockey, and here he is. What a story.
27 years old. Played 4 years at Bowling Green. Along the boards, J.T. Miller. Senators clear it out. Girardi goes back for the puck, no icing. Girardi and McDonough on defense. Kevin Hayes comes on. Jesper Fast and Carl Hagelin. The rest of that line, Eric Gryba playing it out.
Yeah, see where Gryba was outside the blue line. That's what Ottawa has talked about, staying outside their blue line and trying to slow the Rangers down there. There's another play by Gryba, so the Rangers can't get the puck on the move and take it in the zone.
He stepped right into Carl Hagelin. Borowiecki, number 74. He's been an injured defenseman this season, but when he's healthy, he is one tough guy. Also a local product from the Ottawa area. Fast working against Curtis Lazar, rookie forward. Dumped in by Eric Condra. Condra, the Notre Dame product, who half his mind might be on college basketball tonight.
They're hoping.
He was talking to our producer, Chris Ebert, about getting the scores during the game.
He's got an issue as well. We're hoping he stays focused.
Notre Dame playing against Wichita State in the Sweet 16 tonight.
We hear that they've got an early lead.
Oh, that's good news.
So much for the focus. That third line, Sam, with Condra on, it's been a really good line for Ottawa. They plays that line with Pajot against the center, against anybody and everybody.
They're a faster team now than the last time we saw them.
Some of those players that got hurt, Sam, were players that didn't have great speed, so they bring these young kids up, and they're suddenly a faster team.
Offside was whistled on the play. We're nearly 5 minutes into the game tonight. When the Big Easy needed help, the Big Apple was there. Get the story behind the Hurricane Katrina benefit concert on the Garden's Defining Moments, presented by SAP. The Special 10 night event concludes tonight after post-game coverage right here on MSG+. That was a great concert at the Garden. The Garden came through, helping the victims of the massive hurricane. Puck out to Alex Chiasson. Chiasson dumps it in. He came over from Dallas in the trade which sent Jason Spezza to the Stars. Chiasson, Montreal native who went to Boston University. Number 5'90", big right winger.
And they were just moved up to this line because of an injury to McCulloch.
Long shot by Cody Ceci, deflected in, a save by Talbot. In deep is Peter Wirkosh, Patrick Wirkosh. That's deflected away. Good effort by Mark Stone. Batting it off the stick toward the goaltender. Talbot has been sharp early in this game.
Stone is great at stealing the puck. I mean, he is a very bright young hockey player with wonderful hands. He doesn't have great speed. He's scoring now. We saw him a couple years ago. He made his NHL debut against the Rangers in the playoffs.
Right.
And this is a kid that you'll just see him tonight. I mean, he's going to steal pucks, and turn it into something. One of those young players that you talked about, Sam, that's helped really turn things around here.
Saw him right at the leaderboard amongst rookies in scoring. With Hoffman who leads in goals scored. Now Derek Stepan with Kreider. Lines it around the boards for Nash. Mark Mathot is there reversing, taken by Kreider. Kreider comes out, plays it back to McDonough. McDonough looking for an opening toward the net that was blocked in front by Carlson, who carries it out.
And there he goes.
Yeah. And a good play by Girardi. Girardi once again taking the man.
Carlson stopped that with his left skate and and then just exploded. He was 2 feet in front of his own goaltender.
He's making a late charge. And it's a run for the Norris Trophy as the top defenseman in the NHL. He's a +10 after you mentioned right at the top, Joe, he was minus 14.
He was one of the worst plus-minus players. He was in the 700-something as far as plus-minus early in the season.
Good pressure by Zuccarello on Borowiecki. Here's Hunwick with a feed of Brassard. Now Zuccarello wide. Oh, great passing by the Rangers. Zuccarello missed. Condra the other way. Condra for Lazar. Saved by Talbot. And Ottawa skating, flying up the ice.
Well, they play a system where when they get the puck, they don't dump it in. They look to beat you one-on-one as often as they can.
Nice play by Hayes on Wirkosh. Wirkosh, number 46, bumped along the boards. Colin Greening sends it out. Went by Zach Smith. Talbot goes out to play it around the glass. And out of the zone it goes. Takeaway by Hayes. Moves in and shoots high and wide. Kept in by Boyle. Pass deflects out in front. Stahl's got it. Nearly 8 minutes gone by here in the first period. Deflection by Hayes. And a good save by Hammond. Oh, that was a terrific play by Kevin Hayes.
Mark Stahl had trouble settling the puck down. It took him a little bit of time. Once he did, though, he put the puck in the right spot.
Boyle moving up slowly. Pass off the stick of Stepan. Turn the other way. There's a lead to Turris. He shoots. Deflected, a save. Rangers try to clear it. Blocked by Stone. But the back pass is all the way back into the Ottawa zone. 8.5 minutes gone by. First period, no score in the game. But a good pace. Two good skating teams here.
Shots are even at 5.
Girardi and McDonough. Girardi sends it in. And played by Carlson. Turris slowed down by J.T. Miller. Rangers take over. Boyle has come on. Puck got through to Miller. Miller challenges Mathot. Miller waits. Mark Stahl just off the bench. Rich shot saved by Hammond. Into the corner. Boyle missed it. Boyle trying to play it again. And Zuccarello comes over. That deflects toward the net is gloved by Hammond, who holds it. 9:12 gone by. First period. Rangers and Senators. No score.
Well, the Rangers had a great scoring opportunity. It all started by Matt Zuccarello. What a play he makes right here, where he just goes in. Ottawa, good puck control. Look at Zuccarello. Forces a turnover with the hit, and then goes back to his spot. Takes the return pass. Beautiful passing here by the Rangers, and that puck up on end, and Zuccarello shoots it over the net. But Ottawa comes right back down, and here's Condra to Lazar. Lazar ends up with a chance, and Talbot stopped him.
Moore, Shepard, and Glass on for the Rangers. Moore and Legwand tie each other up. Boyle against Zach Smith. Rangers take it back. James Shepard playing it back to Keith Yandel. We talked a lot about Henrik Lundqvist coming back. It was good to see Marty St. Louis on the ice this morning.
Yeah.
And he's close to coming back.
He's close. He had 45 minutes on the ice this morning, and Lane Beaver says, well, let's just wait and see what he looks like in Boston. He'll make the trip to Boston tomorrow, and they'll go from there. 1 o'clock game Saturday afternoon.
This is an icing on Ottawa. Play stops with 10:14 to go in the first. Download MSG Go, the only app that lets you watch MSG Network's coverage of live Knicks and Red Bulls games anywhere. Download now at the App Store or Google Play. MSG Go is currently available to Optimum subscribers. Face-off win by Stepan. McDonough, shot blocked. Deflected out of the zone. Colin Greening got out for the block on McDonough. Lifted back in. Legwand playing it to Gryba. Gryba up ahead for Hoffman. Hoffman making a move on McDonough. Goes around the net. McDonough stays with him. Blocks the pass. Zibanejad with a back pass. Weirkott's shot deflects into the corner. Cody Ceci, the defenseman, in deep. And the puck taken away momentarily. Nash stick went flying. I don't know. Someone pulled it out of his hands. Long shot by Weirkott, missed the net.
It was actually Zibanejad that lifted his stick. Just lifted to steal it, and it flew out of his hand.
Good pass to Stepan from Kreider. The shot deflected up into the netting, and play stops. 9:28 to go. First period in Ottawa. Rick Nash trying to make a play. There goes the stick. How can you play? Most nights, John Giannone has to worry about flying pucks. Tonight might be flying hamburgers. Let's go between the benches. Here's John.
I am excited, and maybe if that happens, I'll get a meal as well. I've heard both benches so far in this first 10 minutes stressing pucks and bodies to the net. Obviously, with these goalies both being so strong, so positionally strong, so hot in net recently, they're stressing that. We've seen a lot of it in the Rangers zone so far. Hey, we've got Dan Boyle between periods. He has the puck right now. He's an Ottawa native. We'll talk to him. And Bill Pito will have both Ron Duguay and Anson Carter in the studio. You could send your thoughts to them on Twitter, guys.
Thanks, John. We'll be checking in with John throughout the game. We'll see him between periods. Kevin Hayes with a takeaway. Will play it deep. Carl Hagelin after it against Mathot. Moved around the boards by Pajot. Number 44. Rangers working hard down low. Good job by this line. Stahl trying to keep it in. And it's whistled down for an offside.
And a real good play by Dan Boyle. Dan Boyle's had a good first period. Really active. He pinched in on the boards, came all the way down, ended up making a play, and they just missed on his setup in front of the net. Dan Boyle, there's Boyle. He stays with it. Watch how he gets it back, and here comes the pass right there. Just goes over the stick of Kevin Hayes. Good setup by the native from Ottawa.
Broussard, Zuccarello, and Miller on for the Rangers.
Or maybe the Ottawa native, for those of you that want to hear it correctly.
Either way. Either way is good. Girardi winds up. Yeah?
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna watch and listen.
Bobby Ryan is on. Puck around the boards. Moved up by McDonough. Girardi able to play it to McDonough. He fires it across into the Rangers bench.
Good save by Dan Boyle. He is having a heck of a first period. Got both hands up and made the save. Saw that one coming all the way. I said I should have deflected it to the other side. Yeah, he's upset with himself because of the pass he made to Kevin Hayes. I think that's he and Kevin Hayes were having that conversation. The pass he made to Hayes was just elevated a little bit over the stick of Hayes. He's hard on himself. Dan Boyle, I mean, he's really hard on himself. Boy, every time he's out there, he wants to make a great play. And that's the reason why, at his age, he's still playing, and why he's won a Stanley Cup and has had a marvelous career.
And I tell you, Joe, in that conversation we had with Daryl Sutter, when Daryl Sutter mentioned my name, Dan Boyle, as a key component to the Rangers in the playoffs, I value his opinion.
Right. Well, he played all those games against them when, L.A. and San Jose. He knows what he's talking about, that's for sure.
McDonough skates it clear. Carries end to end. Bumped by Borowiecki. And the puck out of the zone. Chiesa was met by Shepherd. And the Rangers take it back. Dominic Moore. Moore moves in. Borowiecki there. The pass for Glass, who was tied up by Greiva. Mark Stahl comes back to get the puck. Icing waved off.
I've seen the Rangers attempt shots from even bad angles. They just have this feeling if they can get the puck on Hammond that he'll leave rebounds out in front.
Around the boards it goes. Rick Nash is there. Patrick Werkausch. Stahl steps up against Hoffman. Hoffman able to get it to Cody Ceci. Ceci drops it off for Bobby Ryan, who shoots, hits the outside of the net. Taken by Derek Stepan. Stepan, pass off the boards, leads Kreider. Kreider goes to the net. He scores! Oh, what a play! Perfect play. Stepan to Kreider. 1-0 Rangers.
How many times have we seen that? Kreider knows his position. He doesn't even look for the puck. He looks straight ahead and just skates as fast as he can, knowing that that puck from Stepan's going to come off the boards behind him and on his stick. I mean, this is a work of art. Doesn't even look to try and get the puck. He's waiting for it to come off the boards. He just puts his head down, and Stepan, not many pass better than that. Look at that. If he played billiards, he'd win a championship or two.
That's right.
What a passer he is. And for Chris Kreider, number 19 on the season.
Second goal of the last 3 games for Chris Kreider. Derek Stepan, who had a 3-point game against Anaheim. Shut out by LA, but comes up with a point in this one early. Takeaway by Lazar, who scores! The Ottawa Senators come right back. The rookie Curtis Lazar ties it.
Curtis Lazar is another one of these rookies that when you talk to him, he makes it sound like he's been in the league for 10 years. Kind of a bouncing, rolling puck here. Lazar is trying to fight off Keith Yandel, which he does. Yandel can't get all of it. Lazar is quickly on top of him. There's a bouncing, rolling puck. Lazar is able to scoop it up in the quick release. And Ottawa comes right back quickly to tie it.
Curtis Lazar, just 20 years old. He started the season with Ottawa, then was lent to Team Canada for the World Junior Championships, and is certainly one of their leaders.
Yeah, he was the captain of that team.
And here he is with his 5th goal of the season. Those youngsters helping out. Big drive by Yandel, missed the net. The scoring on the goals. Kreider with his 19th from Stepan at 12:38. And the Ottawa Senators answer back. Wraparound by Hagelin is stopped by Hammond. Good work down low. This line has worked very effectively down low.
Yeah, they really have. Faust has moved up to that line and really been an important part on that right side. This is a good job. Hammond does a really good job recovering on this one. Look how he's out of position and gets back over to the left post in a hurry. He was aggressive. He made a little contact with his own player, lost his balance, and then hustled to that left post to be there before Hagelin could stuff it in.
The Lazar goal came 19 seconds after the goal by Chris Kreider at 12:57. Shepherd was shoved down by Methot. Rangers keep in. Chance for Dominic Moore was blocked. He bumps there with Carlson. Long shot. Save made by Hammond. McDonough taking the shot. Takes another pass and another shot. That's blocked in front by Carlson, who skates it out and feeds Bobby Ryan. McDonough stays with Ryan. Bobby Ryan, the 2nd pick overall in the 2005 draft. Right after Sidney Crosby was taken. Carlson, big drive, saved by Talbot.
And Bobby Ryan has really become an emotional leader on this team.
Mika Zibanejad, who was hit with a shot. by Mark Hoffman, his teammate in the last game against San Jose. Went off, did not return, but he's back now. And another chance. Stephon score. Excuse me, Dan Boyle. Dan Boyle gets the goal. Off the feed from Rick Nash. So quite a return home for Dan Boyle to Ottawa.
He's been great in the first period. The Rangers come back in their own zone and make a defensive play. Kreider makes the play, and then this, wait till you see the pass from Nash right here. Takes everybody, stops, and then finds Boyle, and Boyle from the backhand to the forehand, the quick release, all in one motion. Beautiful pass by Rick Nash. Wonderful finish by Dan Boyle. And the Rangers regain the lead.
You had him pegged from the opening of the game, Joe.
He was right from the start. Every time he's been on the ice, he's been making something happen.
That puck deflects out of play. A little close to John Giannone, but he was able to duck it. Rangers got on the board first at 12:38, the Kreider goal. That was matched by Curtis Lazar. Back to the Rangers, Dan Boyle.
There's Erik Karlsson. When we were in the TV timeout, he was talking to the official. Here's why. This is him taking the shot, and this is Shepard reaching out with his stick. Gets him on the left hand as he's taking the shot. Down he goes, and then the Rangers move the other way. Here it is again. Shepard looks like he makes contact with the left hand. He thought there should have been a penalty. And there you see him. That was during the TV timeout.
Did not find the sympathetic ear. The Rangers taking the lead. 3 goals have been scored in the game in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Kreider at 12:38. Lazar at 12:57. And now Dan Boyle at 14:40. Boyle from Nash and Kreider giving the Rangers the second lead. Long shot saved by Talbot. And cleared out. Rangers with 10 shots on goal. For Dan Boyle, he'd gone 18 games without a goal.
And Chris Kreider ended up on the 4th line last game. He has a goal and an assist in this one.
I don't know if it meant anything, but he was the active player that came to the rink this morning, the only player, besides Marty St. Louis, but the only active player to take shots on Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah, and he hit him in the head with a shot. He really did.
I wasn't going to tell anybody.
He really did. His job was to test Henrik to see if he was ready.
There you go. Pajot moves in and shoots off the post. And the rebound stopped by Talbot. Pajot, another one of those young players who's provided a lot of speed in the lineup for Ottawa. Lazar gets it back to Carlson across the thigh for the shot glove by Talbot, who holds it. 3:46 to go. Each team now with 11 shots on goal.
Yeah, this line can really skate. Here's Pajot with the shot. Looks like it might have been a deflection first off Hunwick and then off the post. Now you can just see Talbot was ready for it. And then he gets back over to cover up as Pajot tried to slide it in on the short side. Pajot, Lazar. Pretty good twosome.
Done a nice job. Brian Murray, the general manager.
By the way, Brian Murray looks good,
Yes,
too.
he
He's on
does.
this morning. You know where he come from? He showed up at the rink just coming back from a chemo treatment. You know, and
He's amazing.
He's energetic. He doesn't miss any time. And he looks good, and we continue to wish him well.
That shot saved by Hammond on the shot by McDonough.
He said he needs one more top 6 forward.
I mean, he hasn't stopped working for a minute, other than to go for his chemo treatments.
Yep.
And he is battling stage 4 cancer, and he's not giving an inch.
Nope.
Bobby Ryan with a takeaway, moves in against Girardi. Nice play in front by Tanner Glass coming back.
Boy, the Rangers come back. We talk about how they play team defense. That looked like an opportunity for Ottawa. They get nothing out of it because the Rangers all react to a scoring chance for Ottawa. They all get back and in position to prevent one.
Girardi took a quick look around, moves it up the board for Hagelin. Pushed ahead out of the zone by Jesper Fast. Riva with a pass across. Zach Smith, who had been out for quite some time, just his second game back from injury.
Yeah, he missed 42 with wrist surgery. They weren't sure if he was going to be back at all, but he went down and played a couple of games in the American Hockey League, and then they had a couple injuries up here, and right back in the lineup he goes.
Good job by McDonough under pressure, able to get the puck out of the zone. There's Karlsson. 2 minutes to go. First period. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Chris Kreider and Dan Boyle. Yandel with a little pass to Zuccarello. Lifts it into the Ottawa zone. Chiasson back for it. It's whistled out for an offside. 1:46 to go in the first.
Now here's what we're talking about, the Rangers defending. The Senators get a little break here. Rangers lose it. Oh, now here's the opportunity. Switch on defense. Good communication between those two. And look at how everybody else comes back. Now that was McDonough and Girardi that made the little switch so that they could defend it a little quicker and a little bit better. They get help from the forwards coming back. So what looked like was going to be an odd man rush and a scoring chance for Ottawa turned into nothing.
Dan Boyle with a puck behind his net. Eric Condra on the forecheck. Stahl moves it out. No icing. Pressure by Brassard on Pajot, who turned it over to Zuccarello. Zuccarello lost his stick, kicked the puck to Brassard. The back pass out of the zone. Talbot fires it out to Miller. Nice pass.
He hasn't had a point in a while, Talbot.
Karlsson, pressured by Zuccarello, turned it over. Stepan moves in, looks and shoots. Save, it popped in the air. It's put in. Keith Yandel got to the puck.
Kreider, I
Kreider
believe.
was there.
Yes. I believe Kreider's the one who gets this. The shot from well out, and Hammond had a difficult time with it. It went straight up in the air and over him. So the Rangers force a turnover. This is Karlsson, tries to make a backhand pass. Here's the turnover. This is a long shot, just a wrist shot. Remember, we were talking about shots from the outside? There was one, and I think Kreider gets to it before it goes over the goal line. Here it is again. Long rebound. Where is it? Can't find it. Kreider does. So what a period for Chris Kreider. A couple of goals and an assist. And again, the Rangers continue to take those shots from the outside. He was well scouted because it's worked. Certainly worked on that one.
Rangers with 3 goals here in the first period. And Chris Kreider, whatever message was sent, and I'll tell you, what's impressed me about Alain Vigneault in the 2 seasons is he has a great feel for his players, and he gets his message across in different ways. Kreider was dropped down to the 4th line by the end of that LA game. He was here this morning, whether it was punishment or not. He was here.
Now that was his choice.
He got the message.
Yeah, that was his choice.
What a start to the game.
Yeah, there was no practice for the Rangers. He elected to come out and do a little extra on his own, and good for him.
And it's a 3-point first period for Chris Kreider and a 3-goal first period for the Rangers.
Another turnover by the Rangers. And they know that Karlsson tends to take a few high risks. He did on that goal.
An outstanding first period for the Rangers. 14 shots, 3 goals. 2 by Kreider, 1 by Dan Boyle, and the Rangers lead 3-1.
And it was a period that really started off conservatively for the most part. 5 shots aside, not a lot was going on, and then the goals start going in. The Rangers start breaking up plays in the defensive zone. They start skating, getting puck to the net, and they've got a nice lead going into the second period.
Rangers head for the locker room. Coming up, it's the Delta Intermission Report. John Giannone rejoins us. His special guest is the Ottawa native, Dan Boyle, who scored a goal in the first period. Bill Pito back in the studio in New York with the Audi MSG 150. Anson Carter and Ron Duguay have highlights and analysis all coming up on the Delta Intermission Report. Ottawa Senators had won 7 straight. Rangers come into Ottawa and score 3 goals in the first period and lead 3-1 into the first. Welcome back to Ottawa. Sam Rosen, Joe Micheletti, John Giannone. This is Thursday night, and Thursday night hockey is presented by Ram Trucks. Rangers with a 3-1 lead, 2 goals by that man, Chris Kreider, including the Rangers' 3rd goal, which means Papa John's 3rd goal replay, Joe.
Here it is. Karlsson. Oh, boy. He played so well, but that's a bad play on the backhand. And then this is a bad save, bad rebound. I mean, that's when the goalie's got to do a better job there. But Chris Kreider has had a heck of a period. Boy, oh boy. He's been skating, aggressive, and scores his second.
The day after the Rangers score 3 or more goals, get 50% off your regular menu-priced online order at papajohns.com with promo code Rangers3. Available at participating Papa John's locations. Besides Chris Kreider, Derek Stepan's had a good start to this game.
He sure has.
Skating well, shooting, great pass to send in Kreider.
Sam, he's just so relieved that, I mean, for him to go 12 games without a point, I mean, how does that happen? A guy that's that smart, right, and such a good passer, and so, another one who puts a lot of pressure on himself. But so he found a little relief after getting those 3 points against Anaheim, and that's loosened him up a little bit, which is a good thing. Rangers ice it, or pardon me, the Ottawa Senators ice the puck here.
For the Rangers, Chris Kreider, his second 2-goal game of this season. He had a hat trick last season against Vancouver as a rookie, but he has reached the 20-goal mark for the first time in his young career. Mark Stahl off the face-off win shot was blocked by Chiasson. A deflection and a save by Hammond. The setup to Boyle and the shot was blocked by Mark Stone, who cleared it out. Stepan hustles back to it.
Sorry, Sam. That was a good face-off win by the Rangers. They were good, 57% in the first period on face-offs.
Kreider across with Nash. Rick Nash driving to the net against Torres. Wraparound on the backhand was stopped by Hammond. Nash was a +3 in that first period, getting an assist and on the ice for all 3 Ranger goals.
He is now +27 on the season. What a year he's having.
Brassard's pass to J.T. Miller. Cody Ceci looks around. Brassard after it. Around comes Zibanejad with a pass ahead of Bobby Ryan. That deflects off the end boards. Played up the boards. Ryan is there. He's bumped by Miller. Trying to get it to Zibanejad. Off the back of the net. Girardi stays with Zibanejad. Zibanejad gets it back to Wirkosh, who winds it around for Ryan. Past him. Brassard takes it out. Zuccarello. Miller goes to the net. Zuccarello looks for the trailer. McDonough went off his skate.
That hurt. Hit him in the side of the foot. Brassard, meanwhile, also from this, he's got 40 to 50 people, he said, here tonight, but not mom and dad.
They're down in Florida.
They're down in Florida. Doing the right thing.
Pass to Zuccarello, who scores! Rangers keep it going. Kevin Hayes with another outstanding play with a setup to Zuccarello. It's 4-1 Rangers.
Yeah, Rangers are making Ottawa pay in the neutral zone. They force another turnover, and then Kevin Hayes with a brilliant pass on a fake shot. Here it comes in the neutral zone. They don't get it in deep. Ottawa trying to make a change. Look how quickly they move the puck, and then there it is. A little fake, and then a beautiful pass to Zuccarello. And watch him be in a position to shoot it. Boom! No mistake. What a play. The quick up. And that's the Rangers. We remember before the game, Sam, we mentioned it earlier, Lane Vigneault talking about we are slow moving the puck against Los Angeles. We need to do a better job, and that's a perfect example. Getting it, moving it quickly, quick pass in the net.
And both Hayes and Zuccarello extend their point-scoring streak to 4 games each. Zuccarello with goals in each of his last 2 games. Yandel tried to get it to Hayes, who played it back. So the Rangers get an early goal here in the second and now lead 4-1.
How about the pass from Yandel? Wow, we saw him make a pass similar to that against Anaheim that led to a goal by J.T. Miller. And he is such a brilliant passer and can make he's got these hands, soft hands, and he can make a quick play, and he doesn't need much to find the open man. There he is. And look at that. Looked like it went past about 4 players right onto the tape of Kevin Hayes, and Kevin Hayes, he didn't give the pass away at all.
Zuccarello, 5 points in the last 4 games in his streak. Kevin Hayes with 5 points. Here's a chance in deep, and that went awry by Stepan.
That was Yandel again. Intercepts the pass, blocks it, and then throws it up the ice right away to Stepan, who had a good chance.
Pressure by Hoffman on Stahl, but the Rangers able to come out with it. Stepan, Kreider to the left, Nash to the right. Stepan is really flying, Joe.
He is.
You know, I know he's not the fastest of skaters, but he is really moving.
He's relaxed. Like he said the other night, when I was between the benches, when he came to the bench the other night against Anaheim, and he says, "Did you see the piano fall off my back?"
Yeah.
I said, "I think I saw two of them." Another one, but that's the way they are. They've raised the bar so high as you know, not only as a team but individually. You know, to hold up their end of the deal. They put a lot of internal pressure on each other to play well and to perform and to keep this thing going the way it's going. So when it's not happening, they take it personally.
Good response by the Rangers. A good start, but still a long way to go in this game. And as we said earlier, Ottawa is a team that has shown a lot of resilience the last 6 weeks. They've shown a lot of scoring ability. And the Rangers can't relax, even with a 3-goal lead. Yandel with 4 points in his last 3 games, all assists. Shepard to Yandel, who moves in and shoots. Saved by Hammond, and he holds it. Nice job by Keith Yandel. Talked about Chris Kreider, excuse me. I have Keith Yandel on my mind. First Ranger with 3 points in a first period since 2011 when Marian Gaborik scored 3 against Toronto in the first.
He scored 1 using that blazing speed on the beautiful pass from Stepan, and then just going hard to the net for the second one, and then gets the assist, his initial pass up the ice from his own zone.
Moving it ahead for Lazard. Now Pajot. Gabriel Pajot with a shot wide. Comes out of the zone. Borowiecki recovers. And now Gryba. Off the stick. Zuccarello brings it back in. Girardi and McDonough. Boston is playing at home against Anaheim, and they are 1-1. In the second period, Zuccarello knocked it down, shot it wide. The JT Miller had pushed down, and the Sens able to come out with it.
They have not been able to generate anything going through the neutral zone. The Rangers have just been so good at breaking up plays and counterattacking the other way that Ottawa is just, they're shell-shocked.
Valturis moves in, finds the trailer, and the shot was blocked, went wide. It was Carlson, the trailer, always the dangerous man. The puck bounced to the side of the net, and Talbot was able to bat it away. Hagelin to Fost. Jesper Fost dumps it in. Mark Mathot, pressured there by Kevin Hayes. But Hayes' game continues to get better. Virtually every game he's doing something that makes him noticeable.
Talk about feeling comfortable in the National Hockey League and then just taking that to another level with the way he handles the puck and makes plays, the way he reads plays now. Remember early in the season when he was a defensive liability?
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. That is not the case anymore.
Ottawa offside. 5:16 gone by here in the second period. Join us for Kids Day, presented by Party City this Sunday, March 29th. Enjoy giveaways and special activities just for kids. See you there. All right, that sounds good. It's always a good thing. Yandel fires for Nash. Now Matt Hunwick coming forward with a good shot. It was stopped by Hammond. Ryan tried to clear. Hunwick kept it in. Kreider taken back by Bobby Ryan. Ryan dumps it in, and Hunwick stays right with him. Zach Smith, number 15 for Ottawa. Ryan playing it around the boards to Cody Ceci. And that was broken up. Good play by Nash to clear it out of the zone. And they whistle that for an icing. Oh, I thought the puck slowed down. The Ottawa Senators kind of slowed down. But the linesman said icing. So the Rangers can't make the line change that they wanted to make.
Yeah, Rick Nash had already been on the bench, sitting on the bench. He comes back on. Dave Cameron is the head coach. You know, he was mentioning this morning that they haven't had much practice time at all, and he said he could see his team kind of slipping a little bit. You know, he's trying to do a lot of his coaching through video because they've been playing game after game after game, like most teams, and so they had finally had their first decent practice yesterday, and so they were able to go over and a lot of things, and as he said, kind of try and get restarted again. But thus far, the Rangers are giving them a lesson on how to play.
Puck at the side of the net. Stepan able to find it and carry it off the boards to Rick Nash, who sends it in. Now the Rangers get that line change.
And Sam, you know, the other thing is that these Ottawa players, they're talking this morning, they say, we want to play like the Rangers. They watch them play, and they see how they play in their own zone, defense first, and then go on the offense. He says that's what we're trying to do as a team.
It's interesting how things evolved, Joe. Earlier in the season, we talked about games where the Rangers were going in to play teams like Anaheim and other teams who were up at Nashville and calling those games measuring sticks. Now it's Ottawa saying we're measuring ourselves by how we do against the Rangers.
Yeah.
Nearly 7 minutes into this second period. Ottawa is yet to get a shot on goal in this second period. Mark Stahl. Tanner Glass to Dominic Moore. And into the Ottawa zone. Borowiecki hit there by Shepard. Glass kept it alive with his skate. It's back to Tanner Glass. He gets knocked down by Borowiecki. Back pass to Yandel. Fakes the shot. Zuccarello just off the bench. Now Brassard behind the net. Zuccarello checked there by Greiva. Now Yandel in deep. Brassard shot deflected out of play up into the netting. 12:26 to go. Second period. The Rangers have added to their lead on a goal by Matt Zuccarello.
The Rangers with the 3-goal lead, and here is the third goal. Turnover in the neutral zone. That was Carlson. That leads to this shot by Derek Stepan. Chris Kreider. No one picks him up. He puts it in. That made it 3-1. End of the period. Here they are again. Turnover. And this time, Yandel. Beautiful pass. Look at that pass. Beautiful fake shot. Pass over to Zuccarello. That was the fourth goal. There's another one. Watch how quickly they move it. Yandel again. Right onto the tape of Stepan, who turns it into a good scoring chance. That has been a big story in this game. How the Rangers have controlled the ice between the blue lines.
Pajot moves in against Yandel. Zuccarello's goal was his 14th from Hayes and Yandel in 1:42 this second period. Condra's shot deflects across. Borowiecki blocked by Zuccarello wide in the net. Kept in deep by Pajot. For Condra, taken away by Brassard. From Miller, his pass was blocked by Pajot. Yandel able to quickly pass it to Brassard. Nice play. Greiva takes a hit from Miller. Strong play by J.T. Miller.
That's what they want him to do on that line. Get out there, play physical, use your skill. He's done all those things. It's been a good fit over there on the line with those other two.
Zibanejad, go Sens go chant up from the crowd. Hoffman stopped by Stahl. Knocked away. Hoffman's got it back. This time Hagelin got a piece of him in the giveaway to Hayes. Jesper Fast sends it in. Now Mark Methot. Good outlet pass. Here's Carlson leading Zibanejad. Stopped by Stahl. Carlson backhanded it wide. Carlson, rather Zibanejad with a back pass to Carlson. Deflection goes wide by Ryan on the deflection. Good play by Bobby Ryan.
Now real good vision by Erik Karlsson. Looked up, saw Ryan over to the side, just a hard pass to the stick. It would have been wide of the net by 10 feet.
First shot was blocked by one-time teammate at Wisconsin, Ryan McDonough. They played 1 year together. In deep net, pass across, taken away by Chiasson. Ali Chiasson.
Penalty coming up.
First penalty of the game goes to Rick Nash. The late penalty call on the Rangers. Hammond heads for the bench. Senators head up ice. Get an extra skater on. Cody Ceci's pass broken up by McDonough. The first power play of the game goes to the Ottawa Senators with 9:58 to go in the second period. Senators haven't had a shot on goal here in the second period.
First power play of the game for Ottawa. Rick Nash goes off. He watched the right skate. He just reaches out, takes down Chiasson with his skate, and so that puts the Ottawa Senators on the power play. And not only looking for goals, looking for shots, Sam.
That's right. Those shots on goal. Rangers have done a good job of shutting the Sens down first half of the period. Rangers penalty killing. They've given up only 2 power play goals over the last 9 games. 22 for 24. Face-off win, and the shot by Wiercioch is saved by Talbot, and he holds it. Ottawa power play 2 for 16 over the last 6 games.
Now look at this play here. Here's Wiercioch. Look where he's set up and how they win the face-off, and Wiercioch just skates into it, and now he's got it and the shot. But Talbot's able to see it and make the save.
And that was the first shot on goal of the period for Ottawa. Rangers clear. Hagelin and Moore on with Girardi and McDonough. Wiercioch pressured by Dominic Moore. David Legron sends it in. All the way around the boards. Back pass to Karlsson. Erik Karlsson sets up, pass to Wiercioch. Torres toward the net, a deflection. Good save by Talbot on the deflection by David Legron.
And a good job by Girardi to clear it. Talbot makes the save. Girardi's in real good position to just turn and fire the puck down the ice.
Senators move up. Mark Stone fires in. Reversed by Dan Boyle. Boyle and Stahl on with Stepan and Fost. Stepan trying to find it. He does, and he clears it. Karlsson back for it. Jesper Fost after him. Kevin Hayes has come on. And now Tanner Glass. Karlsson up ahead. Zibanejad off the boards to Hoffman. Toward the net, block. Good block by Boyle, who takes the puck and clears it. 35 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. Had 2 shots on goal. Zibanejad pass was tipped by Hagelin. Zibanejad winds it around for Karlsson. Dominic Moore knocked it away and cleared it out.
They're just not allowing the Ottawa Senators to set up and make a play.
McDonough comes over. Chiasson on him. Girardi tried to move it. Girardi's got it. Slides it ahead. Picked up by Moore, and Moore skates it out. That'll do it. Power play is over. Moore's shot went wide. Rick Nash back on. 2 shots on goal early on that power play by Ottawa. One was a soft one. One was a good deflection. The puck out of play up into the netting. 7:48 to go here in the second period. The upcoming schedule brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Saturday, Rangers in Boston, 1 p.m. on MSG. Sunday afternoon at home against the Washington Capitals, 3 p.m. on MSG. And then Tuesday night in Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets are fighting for a playoff spot in the Western Conference.
Dustin Byfuglien makes his return to the lineup tonight for Winnipeg.
Boston got David Krejci back after missing 15 games.
Yeah, and they're 1-1. Penalty coming up, I think, against the Rangers. Again, let's see. Lazar went to the ice.
Oh boy, it's Rick Nash heading into the penalty box again. Wow.
So they're arguably their best penalty killer with 4 shorthanded goals on the season. And there's Nash.
Now Lazar's coming at him. He gets the left elbow up. Lazar goes to the ice, and the Rangers back-to-back penalties.
Something you don't often see from Rick Nash. But he's in the penalty box again. And the Senators have their second power play. This penalty at 12:31. Nash for elbowing.
The LA Kings have scored in the third. The Islanders 2-1. They're fighting for their playoff life. Boy, there's some great games, aren't there?
LA's playing well on this road trip. Wirkosh sets up Hagelin and Moore on the ice for the Rangers, and the takeaway. Hagelin comes out. McDonough and Girardi on defense, and it's sent deep by Hagelin, gloved by Hammond. Rangers with a 4-1 lead. 7 minutes to go, second period. Carlson's pass, a giveaway, and a clear by Mark Stahl.
Now, miscommunication between Carlson and Turris. Carlson thought maybe Turris was going to cut across. Turris was thinking he's going to go in and get the puck on the shoot-in, and the Rangers end up with the puck and clear it.
Stone was stopped by Mark Stahl, moves it ahead, cleared out by Stepan. Carlson came over to prevent a breakaway. Stepan continues his fine play. Pass across. It's taken by Turris. Gets it back. The long shot deflected wide. As Chiasson was battling Stahl right in front of Cam Talbot.
Yeah, Mark Stahl is yapping at the referee saying, where's the call there with Chiasson right on top of our goalie?
40 seconds to go in the power play. Hoffman's pass to Zibanejad.
That's a penalty.
A penalty?
Glass is getting a slashing penalty.
Wow.
Right at the blue line, just inside the blue line, the slash. And so 34 seconds still remain on the penalty to Rick Nash. Now the Rangers got to do a job here. This could turn here with 6:03 to go. Important time. There's the slash. Zibanejad carrying the puck, gets slashed on the hands by Tanner Glass, and now this gives this crowd, which has been very quiet, the Rangers have kept them quiet, but there's a little bit of noise now and a little bit of life, understanding that this 5-on-3, they could slowly creep back into this game if they can score a goal here.
Not even slowly, Joe. Back-to-back power play. They get one on the 5-on-3 in a hurry. It could turn around. 6:03 to go in the second. Turris against Moore. Turris won it. Here's Carlson. Rangers with Girardi, McDonough, and Dominic Moore. Light line. Zibanejad, Carlson, Turris, Carlson. Zibanejad to Carlson. Wide. Big drive, and he missed the net.
Girardi forced that shot wide by going down to block it.
12 seconds to go in the two-man advantage. Down low for Turris. Turris has it. Side of the net. Bobby Ryan was stopped by McDonough. Here's Turris with a back pass. Taken away and cleared by Moore.
What a job by Moore. Just prior to him clearing it there, he came back to make a defensive play in front of the net.
Now it's a 5-on-4. Rick Nash is back on with Jesper Fast, McDonough, and Girardi. Turris goes in after the puck. Around for Ryan. It went by him and all the way back. Carlson. 1 minute to go in the Ottawa power play. Just over 5 minutes to go in the second. Ryan lost control. Chases after it against Hagelin. Back up the boards for Condra. It's out of the zone. Kevin Hayes trying to take it away from Pajot. Condra to Wirkosh. Great job of penalty killing by the Rangers, but Ottawa's helping them out. They've made some bad passes. Wirkosh. Now Condra. Dumps it in. Wide of the net. Chased down by Condra. Missed it. Boyle trying to move it. Condra has it back. Condra in front. Tipped wide by Pajot. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Wirkosh winds up. Sets up Cody Ceci. And that was deflected wide. Here's Pajot down low. Driving to the net was Lazar, but he was stopped. Condra's got it. Up the boards. Ceci. Pass off the skate taken by Boyle. The outlet to Hayes. Out of the penalty box is Tanner Glass. Hayes finds him. Score! Tanner Glass! His first goal of the season! Off a great pass from Kevin Hayes. And the Rangers lead 5-1. and a smile.
Sure does. He's such a good teammate. They love him. And this is defensive play again. Dan Boyle, instead of just getting rid of it, finds Hayes. And Hayes knows exactly what the situation is with time left. He just takes it, skates to the side, and waits for Tanner Glass to get into position, and then gives him the pass. What a play by Hayes. Dan Boyle will get another point in this game. And the Rangers, what penalty killing. And then they score a goal at the end of it all.
Tanner Glass, first goal as a New York Ranger. Should we say welcome to the Rangers, Tanner Glass? No, he's done a lot.
He's already been
a
welcomed.
solid guy.
He's done a lot.
Wow.
Again, his teammates love him, and he, a healthy scratch, never complains. He just plays.
I promised them something, Joe, so I'm not going to say it. Somebody might. He said, please, don't tell the fans how many games it's been since I last scored a goal. Please, promise me. So I said, Tanner, I won't. So I'm not. But it's his first goal of the season.
I don't know, so I'm not going to hear it from me because I don't know what the answer to that is.
So I'm keeping my promise to Tanner Glass. But it's his first goal as a New York Ranger.
Good for him. He's a good man, and as I mentioned, real popular with his teammates.
And it
stands up for all of them.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Mark Stone with a shot. Saved by Talbot. No rebound. 2:52 to go in the second period. Rangers, great penalty killing. Out of the penalty box comes Tanner Glass and scores a goal. Goaltending change for the Ottawa Senators. The Hamburglar is out after giving up 5, and that is Chris Driedger, 20 years old, making his NHL debut.
Well, they've got other injuries. That's why he's been the backup. And so he gets in and gets a little bit of experience. There's been quite the run for Hammond.
Driedger is a third-round draft pick of Ottawa in 2012, making his first NHL appearance. Rangers getting 5 goals on 22 shots in the game. A bouncer, Driedger stops it and covers it. 2:38 to go here in the second period. Don't miss the boat. Vote for your favorite story before April 1st for a chance to win a trip with Rangers legends on Celebrity Cruise Lines. Vote today at myrangerstown.com. Outside of the penalties, the Rangers have played a near-perfect game.
Well, they have. Their penalty killing was just tremendous. The neutral zone's been great. They haven't allowed. This is a Ottawa team that's been finding ways to win, scoring goals, having the puck a lot. It's been a tough night for them. Rangers haven't allowed much of that.
Zach Smith checked by Hunwick.
But there's still lots of time left in this game.
Played deep by Greiba. Moore checking Legwand. Now Hunwick picked him up.
And Ottawa's best periods have been their third as far as scoring.
Hunwick. And Yandel able to move it to Shepard. Out to Dominic Moore. Moore dumps it in. Picks it up. Backhander, a save by Driedger.
The right idea if you're the Rangers. Keep throwing pucks at this young goaltender who does not have any experience at this level.
Greening moves in. Blocked by Girardi. And blocked again by Girardi. We've said it a couple of times in recent games, but Dan Girardi has been just outstanding defensively.
He just keeps doing the same thing. It's hard to find him making a mistake during games. He plays these games, you know, with so much thought, positionally, stick, doesn't take penalties.
Giveaway. Quick shot by Stepan, a save by Driedger. Brings a big cheer from the crowd. Stepan with a quick release. Talbot keeps it moving. Hagelin off the skate of Jesper Fast. Talbot stops the puck and feeds Girardi. 1 minute to go. Second period. Rangers with 3 goals in the first, 2 here in the second. Here's Nash. And that shot saved. Driedger had a little bit of trouble with it.
Yeah. Stopped it with his stick, which is in his right hand, and it kicked out left the other way. He didn't see where it went.
Boyle to Stepan. Boyle moves in. A backhander save by Drieger.
It's been pretty good here to start, you know?
A good start to his NHL career. Condra falls down. Taken away by Stepan. Stepan with Kreider. Nice pass. Kreider shoots. Save made by Drieger. He's made a couple of good ones.
Sure has.
Yeah.
Kreider, Nash, Boyle on the backhand.
Time winding down here in the second period. Rangers in command with a 5-1 lead. Talbot plays it out of the zone. And that's it. And we go to John Giannone between the benches. John?
Yeah, guys, obviously when you have a night like Andrew Hammond's had, especially given how his career has started, it doesn't feel good. But I watched his body language at several times throughout the night. He didn't look right. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point after this game we hear that maybe he didn't feel well. When he actually came out of the game, it was during a commercial timeout. He came over to the bench and he had a conversation with his coach that he actually started. So I have a feeling he might have said to his coach that there was something going on that meant he felt like he had to come out of the game.
You know, he got hit. I think it was either the last game or the one prior to that, and there was some concern whether he could stay in the game at that point, and he did. That last game now we hear. So, John, you're probably right on with those comments. Good stuff.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Joe. Coming up, it's the New York Lottery Intermission Report. Tanner Glass, who scored his first goal as a New York Ranger, will be John Giannone's special guest. Back in the studio in New York, Bill Pito has the Audi MSG 150. Anson Carter and Ron Duguay with highlights and analysis. All coming up on the New York Lottery Intermission Report. What two periods the Rangers have played here in Ottawa. They lead it 5-1. We are back in Ottawa. Ranger fans having a good time here. It's Thursday Night Hockey, and Thursday Night Hockey is presented by Ram Trucks. Getting set for the start of the third period. Before we go to that, we go to John Giannone for the coach's view of things. John.
Yes, Sammy, I talked to Associate Coach Scott Arniel. I said, of all the things that have happened tonight that you really like, what stands out? He said, we've scored all 5 of our goals tonight off the rush. He said, we came into this game, we talked about how Ottawa's a really fast, really strong counter team and a strong rush team, so we wanted to make sure that we protected the puck, we didn't turn it over, and that we knew we were going to get some looks in some odd man situations. So the big thing, we're pouring 5 back strong in our zone, mostly preventing their rush and then countering really well. He said all night, we've been playing straight up, especially in the neutral zone, which Joe gets to your point from before. As far as the third period and what to expect, he said, hey, Ottawa's a wide open, high octane, skate and go team. I told our guys, stay strong in the system because we are going to get a lot of opportunities going the other way.
Thanks, John. Good stuff. Rangers prepared well, and they've stuck with it and followed the game plan. Saw that look before we went to John of 5 players for the Rangers tonight with multi-point games. Kevin Hayes, Chris Kreider, Derek Stepan, Dan Boyle, and Matt Zuccarello. Fired by Nash. Stepan, Nash, and Kreider start the period with Girardi and McDonough. Deflection, a save by Drieger. Came in to replace the starter, Andrew Hammond, late in the second period. Lead for Jason, who sends it in. Marty blocks him off, moves the puck to Mark Stahl. Miller was stopped by Hoffman. That deflects on goal. His glove by Talbot keeps it alive. But it's taken away by Hoffman. Hoffman trying to get loose. Pass was blocked by Brassard. That's knocked away from Bobby Ryan by Stahl. Roddy moves it up the boards. It's taken by Zibanejad. Kept it in. Rangers took it away and cleared it out. And it turns into an icing. Check out our Cadillac trivia question for the night. Rick Nash sitting on 39 goals, 1 shy away from his first 40-goal season as a New York Ranger. We're the only 3 players with multiple 40-goal seasons for the Rangers. Okay. That's played to the side of the net. A save, another save by Talbot on the stuff in tried by Curtis Lazar. Then Miller and Lazar get into it.
Good saves by Talbot. And that's what Scott Arniel was telling John about right there. It's a high-octane offense. That's why you can't relax against Ottawa. They're going to go after it. They'll take all kinds of chances to score. You've got to be real solid. Nice job by Talbot. And then Miller comes in to help out on Lazar, as does Mark Stahl. Good concentration. Real good left pad save by Talbot. Then finds the puck and holds on. And certainly you would expect that Lazar and the rest of the Ottawa Senators would be a little frustrated at this point in the game. Trailing by 4.
Eric Condra off the side of the net. Trying to play it in front. Good block with a stick by Talbot. Talbot has really played well positionally the last couple of weeks. He told you, Joe, in the Anaheim game about just the little tweaks that he made to adjust his game, and they really did a lot for him.
That's Benoit Allaire. When we talked to Benoit Allaire today about Henrik Lundqvist, what have you been working on? Nothing. He said, you know what? All I told him is just, don't think. Just go out and play. He's been on the ice. Said he had the same situation with Sean Burke. When Sean Burke was playing, he had a broken thumb. And he missed 3 months, but he was on the ice a lot. And he said he got back, he was all set to go.
And Henrik Lundqvist is set to go. That puck deflects out of play into the crowd. 2:07 gone by here in the third period. Saturday on MSG, the Rangers go to Boston in another big game as we wind down the regular season. The Rangers heading for the playoffs will play the Bruins on MSG. It all begins with live coverage. Visa Rangers game night at 12:30. Bruins and Rangers at 1 p.m. It could be Henrik Lundqvist return. The puck lifted up into the
crowd. Went off the glass, though. Deflected off the glass, I believe.
Meanwhile, wanted a penalty, and the Rangers said it went off the glass, and you're right about that.
No, they're putting them in.
Hunwick's going to the penalty box. Okay.
I thought it went off the glass. Obviously, I was wrong.
Hunwick's looking. Head coach is looking. Ottawa gets a power play.
Okay.
Senators have had the only power plays of the game. And shot by Wirkosh deflects across. Delay of game. Hunwick in the penalty box. Early power play here in the third period. Senators 0 for 4 on the power play in the game. 0 for 3, excuse me. This is their fourth. Turris shot toward the net, blocked by McDonough. McDonough and Girardi, Hagelin, and Dominic Moore. Nice little pass to Hagelin, who clears it down the ice.
That was Girardi again. Everybody thinking he's going to go around the boards with it and just slides it right into the middle of the ice to Hagelin, who cleared.
Erik Karlsson dumps it in. Stahl and Boyle have come on. Stahl moves it quickly to Rick Nash. Nash with Stepan. All the way down it goes. A one-hopper that was blocked by Drieger, played by Stepan. Now Mike Hoffman with a lead to Mika Zibanejad. Check there by Stahl. Around the boards. Hoffman missed it. All the way back it goes. 50 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. Rangers have not had a power play in the game.
They haven't had a lot of power plays in the last number of games.
Chiasson moves in. His pass blocked by McDonough. Karlsson and Hoffman behind the back pass, taken away by Hayes. Hayes holding, waiting for help, decides to drop it in the Ottawa zone.
Just another aspect of the Rangers game tonight that's been excellent, their penalty kill. Key in the second period, and real good here, just not allowing Ottawa to get back in this game.
The thought, the defenseman in deep, puck taken away by Zuccarello. Moved by Girardi and tipped out of the zone by Brassard. And that will do it for the Ottawa power play. Good penalty kill by the Rangers. Eric Condra fell down. Rangers come out. Hunwick still on the ice. Hunwick drops it back for Yandel. Toward the net looking for Zuccarello. Ottawa Ottawa had only one shot on goal on their power play. Lazar for Pajot, and Zuccarello broke that up. Cody Ceci broke his stick on that shot attempt. And it's offside, Ottawa.
Well, the Rangers penalty killing, they've had contributions from so many players, which you have to have. And how about this play? Stahl's going to have two players right on top of him. There he goes back. He looks first, lifts one stick, puts the puck the other side, and he knew that on the other side was Rick Nash wide open. Just a soft little pass, didn't try and clear the zone, just handled the two players that were coming in on the forecheck and made a difficult play look easy.
Hunwick took a hard hit from Colin Greening. Greening with the puck. Played across Borowiecki to Gryba. Gryba winds a deep pass to Legwand. Good play by Yandel behind the net. Moore moves it. Legwand for Greening. Gryba across to Borowiecki. Rangers keeping Ottawa to the outside. Shot by Greening was blocked by Yandel. Shepard. Legwand on him. Puck taken away by Greening. Blocked at the post by Talbot. And James Shepard able to get out with it. Yandel being challenged, and Yandel and Zach Smith going at it. Smith's a pretty tough guy.
Yes, he is. But Yandel didn't back down at all. In fact, he might have been the aggressor. And then Hunwick, I think, jumped in.
Yes.
Remember, Smith's got the bad wrist. He had surgery on his wrist and missed 42 games. I'm not so sure that he wants to get into any type of scrap with the way the wrist is. There's a shot from that angle, and then there you see Smith and Yandel. And Yandel goes right back at him, and then he goes at him again, pushes again. And there it is, right out to the side. Push. And again, I'm not sure that Smith is... he's a tough guy. Does throw down his gloves, but I'm not sure for his own personal health that he wants to punch anybody with the surgically repaired. There you see the tape on his left hand.
Yandel gets 2 for high sticking, and Smith gets 2 for roughing. And you're right about the hand being.
And you can't fight with anything on. You get a game misconduct for that. Sam, the other night we were talking about Andrei Kopitar carrying the LA Kings lately.
Yeah.
He was great against New Jersey. He was great against the Rangers.
And
did it again tonight.
Against the Islanders.
Yeah, he scored the winning goal with under 5 minutes to play, and LA beats the Islanders 3-2 in regulation.
LA is making a strong push. The defending champions are playing like champions.
Sure are. They got 2 more games on this road trip. They're 3 for 3 thus far in wins. They're at Minnesota and then at Chicago before they go home.
3 solid wins over New Jersey, the Rangers, and the Islanders. Teams skating 4-a-side here, with the Rangers leading 5-1. 5:30 the time of the coincidental reminders to Yandel and Smith. Turris with a puck pass across for Carlson. His pass intercepted, and Boyle sends out Stepan. Stepan with Nash, but Carlson got back to take the pass away. Kyle Turris against McDonough. Carlson in deep. Stepan stops him. Carlson trying to keep it alive. Gets it to Mark Stone. Now Turris toward the net off the skate. Stepan's stick came up and caught Carlson. Stepan will go. Ottawa will get another power play. It'll be a 4-on-3. 6:26 gone by. Third period. Erik Karlsson drew that penalty.
Yep. Derek Stepan goes off. Stepan trying to defend. Watch the stick. Just catches him here as it comes up. And so Stepan to the penalty box, and the Rangers with the 4-goal lead.
Provided there are no other penalties, it'll be a 4-on-3 for 1:04 seconds, and then become a 5-on-4.
There's Andrew Hammond, who left the game in the second period. Went back to the locker room and then came back. Boy, he doesn't look very good, does he?
He looks uncomfortable.
Boy, John Gino was all over that one. Great pickup. He does not look comfortable.
Power play number 5 for the Ottawa Senators. Rangers penalty kill has been excellent. Dominic Moore, Dan Girardi, and Ryan McDonough on this 4-on-3 man advantage. Pass cross, quick shot blocked by Girardi. McDonough got a piece of it. Moore clears it. Stopped by Carlson. Now Mika Zibanejad. Back to Carlson. Battle in front. Saved by Talbot. Big battle between McDonough and Bobby Ryan, and the Rangers able to clear.
Yeah, McDonough blocked the rebound shot by Bobby Ryan and then cleared it up the boards.
Pass across, missed by Zibanejad. And it's cleared by Girardi.
You know, the other guy that's been great on the penalty kill has just been Dominic Moore. Right there again, he makes another good play. Just tips the puck over to Girardi so he can clear it.
10 seconds to go in the 4-on-3. A minute to go in the power play now. Takeaway by Fost, and he clears. Fost on with Boyle and Stahl. Out of the penalty boxes, Yandel and Smith. They go to their respective benches. Hagelin comes on for the Rangers. Legwand for Ottawa. It's a 5-on-4. Legwand taken away by Hagelin. Good play. Good anticipation. Rangers have been really sharp. Carlson into the skates of Turris.
No, that's just a bad pass there.
Turris again lost control. Hagelin takes it away. Feeds Hayes. Hayes one-on-one with Carlson. Hayes to the net. That was stopped. And here's Turris. With 15 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. All the way around for Cody Ceci. Couldn't play it. Cleared by Girardi. Combination of excellent Rangers penalty killing and Ottawa just not
Sam, I think this Ottawa power play, they're so conscious of the fact that they have to make a quick play that, that they're trying to make the play before the puck gets to them. By the time it gets there, they're fumbling the puck. They're nervous because they know they have to make a smart, intelligent, fast play against the Rangers' aggressive penalty kill, and they're just not handling that pressure well.
11:23 to go, third period. Teams are back at full strength on the ice. Ottawa had 11 shots on goal the first period. Since then, they've had only 8. Shots are 31-19 in favor of the Rangers, who lead 5-1. 3 goals in the first period, 2 in the second. Stepan waited for Nash to get onside. Around the boards, Kreider keeps it in. Stepan gets to it. Knocked away. And out comes Lazar. Lazar moves in. And it goes into the corner. Shot from a sharp angle by Kreider was stopped by Talbot. Yandel takes over. Lifts it out of the zone. Alley-oop for Kreider. And Kreider was offside.
And Pageau and Kreider now, they were going at it before, and Pageau chases Kreider back down the ice, gives him a couple of whacks from behind.
Saturday afternoon. Sorry, Joe. Saturday afternoon. Kreider, Hayes, Yandel. They're going to take up a lot of seats at the TD Garden in Boston.
How about this? Boston was leading Anaheim with under a minute to go in the game, 2-1. Anaheim has just tied that game. Anaheim
had a players-only meeting yesterday. They have not played well, and Bruce Boudreau's been upset. Players have been upset with the way things have gone. So they scored with 39 seconds to go.
Corey Perry, we saw him his first period against the Rangers the other night was spectacular. Now the Rangers are going to another penalty. Dan Boyle. It's the second time the puck goes over the glass. So the Rangers are. Well, this third period taking a long time to play.
Players must feel they need a little more work on the penalty kill because they're getting plenty of it.
Yeah, they sure are.
Delay of the game, second delay of game penalty. This one at 9:20. Rangers penalty kill 5 for 5. Look at Stepan make the play. And back for it was Lazar. Boyle delay of game. Rangers have given up only 5 shots while shorthanded 5 times in the game. Condra up the board. Stepan is there. He's tied up by Lazar. Pajot gets it back to Ceci. Now Pajot down low. Lazar trying to get to the net, and Girardi stopped him. It's out of the zone. Coming down to the midway point, third period. Rangers leading 5-1. Eric Condra. McDonough knocked it away. Pajot plays it back up to Carlson. Rangers have Moore and Hagelin. Girardi and McDonough. Shot blocked by Girardi. Cody Ceci taking it. Girardi's hurting.
You know what Girardi should do? Girardi should take this game right now, put it on a video, and sell it. And he'd make a lot of money about how to play an outstanding defensive game. We talked about him on the pregame. He's done everything, and this time, let's hope he's not hurt too badly there. He's going straight back to the locker room. Let's hope that that's not serious. Because what a game he's played again with his stick, deflecting plays, clearing the zone, you name it. He's done it all again in this one. And
putting his body in front of that last shot.
Leads his team in block shots, leads them in hits, doesn't take penalties.
Weirkosh, checked there by Hagelin. Pete Yandel is on with Mark Stahl. Cody Ceci with a puck. Fired across. Weirkosh tried to cut in. Yandel stopped him. Now Colin Greening. Weirkosh down the boards for Zach Smith.
Fourth line on the ice for this power play for Ottawa. That's how the coach feels about their power play.
Weirkosh stick handle on the line, took the puck out for the offside. Our game recap is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Chris Kreider with his first 20-goal season, 40-point season, 3 points in the first period, 2 goals and an assist. Tanner Glass, his first goal as a New York Ranger. And Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar, who had played so well for Ottawa, was lifted late in the second period, giving up 5 goals on 22 shots. That's broken up at the line by Hunwick, bringing it offside. 22 seconds remaining in the Ottawa power play. 9:02 to go in the third. Rangers a 5-1 lead.
This crowd hasn't had a thing to cheer about in this game. And they've seen some excellent hockey in this building over the last couple of months.
Only Montreal has more points than the New York Rangers coming into play tonight. Montreal at 100, Rangers with 99. And Montreal is trailing in their game 3-1. Talbot, good play. Tanner Glass sending it down the ice. Power play is over. Rangers penalty kill is 6 for 6. Ottawa did not get a shot on goal on that power play. Rangers have been shorthanded 6 times in the game and given up only 5 shots. Miller with a good shot that's stopped by Trigger, and he covers up on the rebound. 8:21 to go in the third. 5-1 Rangers lead. Tonight, MSG's special 10-night event, the Garden's Defining Moments, continues with a story behind the Hurricane Katrina benefit concert.
In the context of catastrophes, that one stood out.
Not just to New Orleans, but all up and down the Gulf Coast was devastating. And we needed to raise more money.
It was an immediate thought that musicians needed to respond for this great debt that we all owe to the music from New Orleans.
The Garden's Defining Moments, from the Big Apple to the Big Easy, presented by SAP tonight after the postgame on MSG+.
Now Jim Ramsey came out of the locker room, whispered in the ears of the head coaches, of the head coach and the other coaches. Sure it had to do with Dan Girardi, who has not returned to the Ranger bench. Hope it's nothing too serious.
While we have the second, Ulf Samuelson's son Adam, we told you he's playing with the Mid-Fairfield team in the Nationals up in Buffalo. Mid-Fairfield won their first game of the tournament 3-1 today.
That's a birthday present for Alfie, who's 51 today.
All right. We like that. Birthday presents, that is.
Sure.
Birthdays, you can keep the same number. Just hold it one number. You like that number? Stay there.
Getting older stuff. I don't know.
Intercepted by Greiba. Zibanejad with a pass. Nice play by Boyle. Boyle's had a real good game. A lot of family and friends here. Ryan left it for Hoffman. Zuccarello on him.
I don't know how many defensive plays Zuccarello's made in his own zone, but every time he's on the ice, he seems to make a little play with his stick, break up a play, and clear it.
Chipped off the boards by Zach Smith. Played by Greening. All the way across. Legwand's there. 7:20 to go in the third. Legwand leaves it for Zach Smith. And Anaheim has come back. They got the late goal, and they have beaten Boston. So if the Rangers hold on and win this game, and they have 7 minutes left, they will be officially in the playoffs. They will have clinched the playoff spot.
That's a big loss of a point for the Bruins, even though Ottawa is, down by 4. And unless something crazy happens, the Rangers should come out of this with a win.
And a 100-point season for Alain Vigneault and the Rangers. It'll be only the 8th time in Rangers history that the team has gone over 100 points.
They were just absolutely dominating in this game. Absolutely dominating. This Ottawa team is a team that, they move the puck. They play with a high pace. They obviously have been great, 17-2-2 in their last 21. And this has been absolutely no contest.
Well, the Hamburglar went out, and some frustrated fans sent the hamburger onto the ice. That will not be for post-game consumption.
He's still trying to stretch. He's been uncomfortable ever since he left the game. He probably was during the game as well.
Greg Anderson's getting close to coming back. He skated yesterday in practice.
Yeah, he's got a right hand that he had an issue with, and that's his blocker hand, and he was taking shots on the blocker hand today, so he could be back very soon.
Rangers will play the Ottawa Senators in the last regular season home game, April 9th at the Garden. Brassard with a shot that went wide.
Sam Pajot just took a run at Mark Stahl, and Mark Stahl was ready to turn around. He challenged him. Pajot, not a real big guy. Plays hard, but now he takes a run at Miller.
He's going at everybody right now. He hit Hunwick, getting one at Miller. Yandel steps in front of Condra. Time winds down.
And now Pajot and Yandel.
Challenge Zuccarello. Now Pajot skates off. A little false bravado there. Lead for Hagelin, who moves in. Winds up, shot it wide. All the way out. Brassard was heading for the bench. Rangers had a lot of players on the ice. Some were getting off, some were coming on. Turris for Chiasson. Moving in is Stone. Good save by Talbot. Talbot has just been solid in this game. They beat him for one early in the game to tie it at 1-1. And after that, he has been solid.
Now we'll take a look at this last shift for Pajot. Here's Stahl. Look at Pajot with the right elbow. Gets it up a little bit. Stahl has some words with him there. And then Pajot takes a little bit of a run at Yandel. That was towards the end of it. Yandel didn't like that. And then Zuccarello comes over, gives him a little whack with the stick a couple of times.
5:36 to go. Kind of strange to come play an Ottawa team without Chris Neil being here.
Right.
He's been a fixture for so many years.
He's been out injured. He is back skating, but was not ready to return tonight.
Hoffman wins the faceoff back. Borgietsky with a shot wide of the net. Zibanejad sets up Hoffman. Rangers check him well. Hayes and Fost. Chris Kreider with 2 goals. Dan Boyle, Matt Zuccarello, and Tanner Glass with 1 apiece, and the Rangers with a 5-1 lead and 6 for 6 on the penalty kill in the game. A game which the Rangers have not gotten a power play. Hayes sends it in, under 5 minutes to go. Talbot out to play it. And what a run it's been for Cam Talbot as he continues his outstanding play. With Henrik Lundqvist set to return over the weekend. Saturday or Sunday, that'll be the decision they'll make tomorrow. Legwand. Urquhart comes in to play it. Stumped. Went by Kreider. And Stahl able to fire it out for Derek Stepan. Stepan 2-on-1 with Nash. Pass to Nash went by him. Hard pass.
Yeah, just bounced over the stick.
Stepan with the unselfish play as they try to get Rick Nash going. And off the little scoring drop that he's been in. Long shot glove by Grigor. And he holds it with 3:55 to go in the game, and the Rangers leading 5-1. Rick Nash, 1 goal shy of his first 40-goal season as a Ranger, who are the only 3 players with multiple 40-goal seasons for the Rangers.
Well,
Rod Gilbert,
Mike Gartner, how about Marion Gaborik?
Mark Messier. Oh, Gaborik, you're right. Mark Messier. I'm throwing Messier in there.
You are?
Gardner.
John Rattel.
Yeah,
That's the guy we missed.
Yeah. We gave Rod too much credit. I figured he's in the Hall of Fame. He had to have 2 40-goal seasons.
You would think, wouldn't you? Certainly came to mind, that's for sure.
I'll have to have a chat with him.
Yeah, he had a couple of off years.
Brassard and Zuccarello sends in. 3:25 to go. Rangers, after that first period, shutting down Ottawa. Ottawa had 11 shots on goal in the first period. It was fast-paced. I guess you could call it a little wide open. But since then, the Rangers have shut Ottawa down.
Yeah, they took over. They took away any speed that they tried to play with. They were unable to make many plays in the Rangers zone. The Rangers defensively were excellent. And it was just one of those games where they did just about everything right.
Moore checking Legwand.
That's what the Florida Panthers, Sam, they're making people think that don't forget about us. They're gonna win again tonight. It looks like in Toronto. And they'll only be three points out.
Okay. Toronto, Boston, Ottawa.
And Boston and Ottawa will be tied with 85 points. Florida right behind them with 82. What a finish.
Winding down.
That final day of the regular season, the 11th of April, all 30 teams will play.
Winnipeg is leading Montreal 4-1 end of 2 periods.
Now, Carey Price not playing in that game, by the way. Tokarski is the goaltender from Montreal.
And the Rangers, if that holds up, the Rangers will be in first place overall in the NHL. Talbot made a glove save, holding on a little after the whistle get together. Under 2 minutes remaining in this game. Stay tuned following the game for complete post-game coverage on Mercedes-Benz. Rangers post-game, Bill Pino, Ron Duguay, Anson Carter back in the studio in New York. We'll hear from head coach Alain Vigneault. John Giannone will talk to the player of the game and go into the locker room, get the player reaction to tonight's effort. Joe Micheletti and Dave Maloney will have their analysis here in Ottawa, all coming up on Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame. And then Saturday afternoon at 12:30 on MSG, Visa Rangers game night at 12:30, and at 1 o'clock, Rangers and the Boston Bruins. Bobby Ryan tied up along the boards. Tanner Glass. He had And some good smiles and some good comments for John Giannone in their interview after the second period.
He was emotional. You just see it on the ice when he scored the goal, how emotional he was, and how happy the other players were for him.
Good effort all around. Probably the coaches will say too many penalties, that's for sure. You don't want to be shorthanded 6 times in the game. The Rangers penalty killing continues to be one of their real strong points. Hayes with a takeaway as we're under a minute to go. And the Rangers are about to advance to the postseason. 5 years in a row.
Only Los Angeles has played more playoff games in the last 5 years than the Rangers.
35.9 to go. Let's take a look at our 4th goal of the game, Joe.
Yeah, we're going to give it to that number 15. He comes out of the penalty box. What a pass here by Hayes. He's looking at the goaltender and then the beautiful pass. And Tanner Glass, good for him. He's such a good teammate. And one of those players that sticks up for his teammates.
5 years in a row, the Rangers making the playoffs, and 9 of the last 10 years in the playoffs. Lazar, some nice moves. Good defensive play by the Rangers as the final seconds tick off here. 5 players with multi-point games, and Cam Talbot with a 23-save effort. Zuccarello moves in. And the Rangers are in the playoffs once again as they win their 47th game of the season. That is a league high. They have 101 points. They go to 100 points in a season for the 8th time in their history. And congratulations to the Rangers coaching staff and especially to the players who have had an outstanding season.
Well, Glenn Sather and his staff for putting this team together. I mean, they came into this game playing the hottest team in the National Hockey League. And they made them look like they were one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. That's how good. That's not a knock on Ottawa. That's how good the Rangers were in this game. They used their speed. They defended well. Talbot, when he needed to make a save, he didn't have to make a lot of difficult saves, but he was there. This was just such a tremendous team effort. Their penalty killing when they needed it to step up, especially in the period. And there's Dan Girardi.
Congratulating his teammates with his left hand.
Right.
The right hand got hit with a shot.
Dan Girardi was great again.
Oh, man, was he ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of togetherness on this team.
Rangers win it 5-1. Cam Talbot with another win. Rangers have won 3 out of 4, 8 out of 10. As they beat the Senators 5-1, we'll be right back.